Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Cult for episode 164 of On the Backs of Gods. I'm your DM, Jillian, and we have our players here today. Same as always, we have Matt, Katie, Josh, and Greg. I will be playing Fen tonight, and I'm sure we're all very excited about that in this straight-to-video episode, where it won't be streamed, but we will be up on YouTube, as you are seeing now if you're seeing it. Look at that. I'll go ahead and give us a nice little recap. And then I think we could jump into things. I know there are some strange inspiration dice still floating around. Not too many, but there's still a couple.
Not as in not Fens, I believe.
Yeah, I think they're the only ones who are out. But one of them made a roll into a nat 20. One of them did not affect the roll, but that nat 20 was super cool and made that kobold guy less angry. So, it's the important things that matter.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm glad he's less mad at me about kind of being rude to his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Accidentally, but
A little
still.
bit at the second. You need a little minute to gather yourself. Fine, it'll be fine. And then you'll never see it again.
Currently, all of you are at the biggest bash of the year, a 3-night-long event, and you are on night 3. Sadly, a few more hours still left in this party for however you feel about it. How many of those hours you wish to partake in, fully up to you. But all of you have been having, to some degree, a good time and a bad time, depending on the situation. Some things are fun, some things are not. Some people want to kill your husband. Some people are praising your husband, and he seems to be unable to be killed in combat because he's astounding at it. So really, it's the pros and cons of things. People have drinks or lack thereof, and Keld is eventually wooed into drinking by the 3 ladies. Roshan sees Dagwood at the party, who is having a panic attack because she is agoraphobic and at a party and having a bad time, and says that she was there representing somebody, that she was asked to come. And Nyx also went and spoke to Jin Lee and said that she's like, hey, I'll make a new deal with you if you're so interested in having this sickle. That was yours at some point, or at least maybe belongs to you. We don't know. We don't have the clarification on that. But Nyx presented the offer of, through magically binding contract, that she would provide this sickle, and that means Jinli could not harm Roshan or his sister ever again. And Jinli pondered it for a moment and then could not keep up the charade of pretending to think about it and laughed in Nyx's face and said, the only thing I am now trading that for is not killing your husband. I care for nothing else. I'm having the time of my life is basically the vibe. Like this is my bread and butter.
See you again.
I'm having a good time. And Nyx is like, understood, thank you for your time. And kind of gets to the point with Russ where she's like, I may just give it to her. And Russ is like, I'd rather die. Foreshadowing? I don't know. But Fen is currently out on the prowl as he's been given missions from Corrine to stick tracking devices on individuals. He was on to the second, and Nyx, during this time, stops and has a conversation with General Talaran, who admits that she's very open to the war ending. That would be something she would want to see happen, but knows that the Lady Lord would never sign any document, would never call for peace, that she is too hurt. It just won't happen. And they hug, and Fen approaches to awkwardly touch her on the weapon, on the scimitar, and be like, gotcha. I'm just walking by. Don't mind me. But in that moment, Nana, after having gone to get a drink, encounters a familiar face. Golden armor, fingers that are now gilded, and a spear of gold that mounts on his back. This is, as what the party was referring to as, Mikkel, the person that killed Ave on the mountain. And feeling righteous fury, or just plain old fury, Nana approaches him, introduces herself, and challenges him to a duel to the death, which is very legal at this party and probably in a lot of places on the continent, to be fair. But at this party, it's kind of like everybody wants you to do that. Nana approaches and requests a duel to the death, which he accepts. He would not do her the disservice, I believe he said, of saying no. Fen sees this start to happen, but hesitates too long as he tries to go to Nana, but eventually gets to her side, and whispers threats in this man's ear. And as everybody starts to gather after Nana loudly declares combat, Russ and Nyx are on the scene, and Russ's color goes pale, and he steps forward, claims he is Sindri's second, accepts the challenge, but asks that it be a game for trophy instead of to the death. Nana accepts. You realize that this man's name is not Mikkel, that his name is Sindri, and that what you overheard somebody overhearing was somebody calling him my kiln. And all the pieces start to fall into place as everyone makes their way towards the dueling arena. At this point, Dagwood steps in and tells Nana, I'm going to help, don't worry about it, and goes about her business. Russ also seems to be struggling deeply with this and trying to understand what's going on. And after taking another round of these drugs that ostensibly give him a short rest, it appears that he has a heart attack under the stress of all the factors. And then smoke rises from his mouth and he straightens up, as if he were not just felled by horrible pain, and makes his way into the arena to challenge Nana, who looks for insight after he tells her to stand down. And he tells her that it doesn't get better. And he's also in a heightened place, but he may feel that way. And the combat takes place after Alyona secretly drills a hole into the bubble so that Dagwood can cast haste on Nana and then actively be throwing spells at Russ secretly the whole time. During this, Fen makes his way over to Sindri with, I can only assume as Corrine that this man was going over there to commit a crime. And acting rashly, Corrine shouted in the man's head to prevent said crime, and pulled Fen into heel and was like, we're not stabbing anybody right now. Not twice at my party. And outside of the dueling circle, twice? No.
Oh, not at 1 year's party. You gotta spread them
maybe
out.
next year's. Yes,
Maybe next
wait.
year. Come on, spread them out.
But prevents him from doing anything rash. Roshan eventually confronts Dagwood and tells her to stop attacking Russ. A choice for certain. And Dagwood says, let me do one more. And Roshan obliges. And that one more was power word kill, as Dagwood tries to fully take Russ out of the game, but is counterspelled by Russ's handler, who is a little suspicious of the gathering and the, I'm guessing, aggressive staring from Dagwood. Saving Russ's life in that moment, Roshan asks to talk to Dagwood, and Dagwood says, sure, we can talk.
And it just occurs to me now that even if she had power word killed him, it might have just looked like a heart attack.
Yeah. He would have just dropped.
She had planned this.
Oh no, he's dead. But she is not successful this go round. Nana is
continuing to be problematic fave.
Nana is felled in combat by Russ, and goes to take his trophy, which in all of the combats that he had been playing for trophy was to take an ear, and made the choice not to, and threw down his weapon and walked out of the arena, shoulder checking his boss, Sindri, on the way out. And at that moment, somebody runs over to heal Nana, and Nyx is magical bindings that were keeping the ice in check have broken. And so these are the current things we are dealing with. Keld is here. He's a little intoxicated, like a little bit. Not shitty,
Tipsy.
but like, yeah,
he got a buzz.
he's
He got a buzz.
yeah, it's the kind of drunk where you're like, I know a bad thing's happening, but I am
But
still
I'm feeling all
intoxicated.
right.
But
I'm
I
sitting
am
here.
altered.
I should not be walking.
But that's where we're going to pick up is exactly at the end of this combat. Nana is on the floor, Russ is on his way away, and all of this is accented by polite golf claps. As for some people, this was a big, emotional, important moment, and some people catch on to that, and you can see there is some interest from people in the crowd. But for most of the people here, this was a duel. That's what they came here to see. They came here to watch Russ bludgeon people into the dirt. There's murmurs because of how aggressively he walked away. You see, that seems to call in some speakings and some conversations. Nana, you are healed by a person who works at the arena for about 10 hit points. You can see that Corrine catches Fenn's attention and like pulls his face in, has a quick like handful of second conversation with him. And then Fenn begins to make his way over to Nana and is going to use all of his first level spell slots into some cure wounds. Nana, it's still a bit of ringing in the ears as you're coming to consciousness, and you hear him. They are definitely words of encouragement. It is Fenn trying to like pick you back up, bolster you, but it's all kind of murmured in this moment. Nyx, from your place on the ground at this juncture, your arm feels very stiff. That's something you notice immediately, is that you can move your arm somewhat, but you were also kind of crouched on the ground and laying in on yourself. So it's possible that's an issue caused by positioning, but there is a tightness in your joints there. You can see that Russ's handler looks to Dagwood, and Dagwood gives eye contact in return. And there is just a couple seconds of quiet, non-existent conversation, and Dagwood shrugs. I'm going to go sit down and get away from the crowd. And Dagwood just turns and is going to start walking. You can see as she turns, if your gaze follows her, you can see Marsher has started to make his way into the crowd and stops at that point and says, Dagwood? And Dagwood looks at him. Marsher. And there's a moment, and Dagwood keeps walking as Marsher is left there in that moment. The handler looks to Ro for a moment. And this is all like within a handful of seconds, all of this is happening, all at the same time. The handler looks to Ro and then steps back, turns quickly, and is making their way back towards the kiln. You can see that Russ is currently walking in the direction of the exit. This is my question. I'm not asking what you're doing, what's next. I don't want you to tell me that. I just want to know people's intents. What is everyone's intent at this moment? Whatever that may be for you and in your mind.
Wrangle his emotions and pick his jaw up off of the ground.
Perfect. Yeah. That's all I'm looking for, is just like, not even in character, just frame a thought. What are your intentions?
Keld's intentions are to decide whom to approach first.
Okay.
He's
Keld
got
is still gathering information.
two things.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Nyx is
probably first debating between Nana and Russ of who she should help, but is gonna pick Russ very quickly.
Of course.
Yeah.
Your husband. You
You
got
know,
to.
you gotta check on the man.
Nana, as she's coming back to consciousness on Fenn's shoulder, is looking around for Russ. She's confused. She isn't missing an ear or a finger or a toe or anything. She doesn't think he took anything. And she's trying to figure out where that discrepancy happened.
Okay. And I will say, just to give you a snippet so you can ponder it as I continue, but you can see that his weapon, his Morning Star, is like hit into the ground. The knife had been removed from the base, and the knife is currently sticking into the ground at your feet. So that is the information you have on that. Sindri turns to everyone, and his voice fills the space. Charismatic. I am Sindri. Some know me as the Kiln, the heart of Skull City, the man who keeps the lights on. And he does like a kind of a polite smile, and like you hear polite, like ha-has. I owe my accuser this much, and no more, for I am nothing if not honest. I killed Chief Hemmingson atop the peaks of the valley, though I had no choice, as he reaches back and takes the spear off of his back. As he made me swear under Gungnir, I would slay him, and in turn, allow his companions breathe. So, I turned my back upon them, drawing no more blood, but watching mine and my companions spill. And I would do it again. An ambitious man culled is an era saved. A man ambitious for ambition's sake will eventually seek ruin for ruin's sake. And he looks in your direction, Nana. You still mourn. To you, he was a friend, he was blood. To me, he was the end of days. And he scoops a drink off of a tray. To devotion. And people raise glasses, and there is like loud murmuring and talking. To devotion, as people repeat this. And speaking of devotion, as he lowers his glass, many of you have gotten to look at the subtle spectacle that is my work, and he motions to the lamps. This is the lifeblood of Skull City Manifest. Lights of Ymir. This is what makes the city so safe, nearly devoid of corruption even now. They repurpose the power from the ground into light, diminishing the potency from the soil. A reusable resource that simultaneously makes our cities and our homes safer. My great-grandfather pioneered the steps to make Skull City habitable, and I will honor his legacy by bringing safety to the continent, to an end of hardship, to an end of hardships. And he drinks from his drink. People love a good reason to drink. And at that moment, he does like a little like, thank you for listening to my speech. And he walks off to continue his event and is quickly followed by Russ's handler. Russ is still on his way in that direction, but was close enough to hear all of that. But he is currently still on the way out. I would love to now know what we are doing.
Nana picks up Russ's knife, and she's going to put it in a pocket so she can return it to him later.
Okay.
Aside from that, she's leaning on Fen and shaking with rage.
I'm going to make a Fen choice, and Fen is just going to escort Nana out of the middle of the circle and is going to go over to the nearest bench out of the way. That is what Fen will do in this moment and get Nana there. What are other people up to?
I think Keld would look around and see if he can get eyes on Nyx or Nana.
You have eyes on everyone.
Cool.
Yeah, everybody. Nobody,
whole-
well, everybody visible.
And I
Ave?
think then I think he'll want to check on Nyx because she's apparently on the ground.
Yeah,
looking
she's on the
rough.
ground.
That doesn't seem good.
So Keld goes to your side, Nyx.
What's going on?
You can go check on Nana. She needs me more. Not me. She needs you more. I'm gonna go after him. She's just gonna go grab the rest of his weapon and start running after him. As much as one can run into heels when they've only worn them for 3 days of their life.
Yeah, and carrying now a Morning Star.
Yeah, that's a
so
lot.
It's not the easiest feat.
No.
Especially because one of your arms does not seem to be cooperating.
Yeah. It's fine. Nothing to worry about.
Okay.
Does Nana see that? Feel like she
Yeah, nobody's hiding.
Yeah.
Nothing's hiding. Everything happening right now, unless I say
Yeah.
there's a stealth roll, you probably see it.
All right, then Keld will head over to Nana.
All right, you go over to the Nana bench. Roshan, what are you up to?
I think it takes Roshan another 30 seconds to process, and he has a drink in his hand and absent-mindedly takes a sip, and I think he will turn and follow the handler, not very closely, just keep eyes and wait for his emotions to calm down and try to catch her attention.
How long do you think that'll take, Roshan?
Solid until the end of this drink, so a couple minutes at least.
During this, like, you all catch glimpses of like people you know, like acquaintances, friends who are like, we're not close enough for me to just walk over to any of you guys and start talking to you about this. Like if Thor came over and was like, hey champ, you know, that's everybody seems to recognize that something happened, but they are to them not in a position where they can make a first move. So they are keeping for now their distance. So that's what people who know you are currently up to, giving you some distance. I think I'll start with Nyx, as Roshan is like, I gotta at least finish my drink. Nyx, you're in full pursuit of Russ.
Yeah.
Okay. You follow Russ and you see that he is making his way fully to the exit. And by the time you catch up to him, he's standing at the gate. And he steps back away from it. And he kind of sways on his feet a bit. And you watch him run to the side and like vomit into a bush. And then sort of like grab onto like one of the nearby statues and is just going to plop down against that on the ground.
Right. We can both sit down. Because she'll go over and immediately cast heal on him, as one does.
Of course, let me take my 73. I know you get extra.
Yeah, I get to roll. It's 74 today.
There we go. He's above bloodied.
Looking better.
Yeah, you can see that the wounds that he acquired, the big noticeable ones, like Nana landed blows. Nana landed pretty solid blows. But those magical hits that you saw hitting into him, first off, you've never seen Nana fling such aggressive magic, and none of them were fireball. So you see
Yeah.
that those are the wounds that start healing first. This kind of like bulging in the veins, kind of like this darker looking blood that starts to calm down and fade away from looking like bruising under the skin. And you can see that he is sweaty and breathing hard, and he just has his head back against the base of the statue and is looking at the sky.
I don't think she'd make him talk. She's gonna sit there with him. Unless he looks really, really bad, and then we'll use the 7th level spell and give him more health.
Okay. So physically, he looks pretty good.
Okay.
Like damage wise. But like he looks like sick. Like there's like he looks ill. For whatever reason.
Maybe we should just go back. You look like you need to lie down.
Mm. I was thinking about going, and I can't go yet.
Why not? Just saw what happened.
And what if somebody else has such big, great feelings and wishes Sindri dead?
Then you can go back to you've done 5 fights. This is close enough to say I can step in. I can do it.
Or
said
we
I
could
would.
talk about it if it happens. If somebody challenges Sindri, though, that's why would she do that? I'm trying to put it all together in my mind. I'm trying to, because I feel like I feel like an idiot. I feel like there are things that I should have understood, and especially when you told me that they made you worse.
We did. I don't think she knew that's who that was. That was your boss. I
I don't
didn't.
I don't think we would have all been sharing a camp and dancing around if we were all on the same page, is what I'm thinking. I'm grateful for what that confusion brought me. But I'm a fucking idiot.
I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. Exactly. I don't It's not like you did anything or any of your team.
I wasn't on the mountain, but I told you that the other Russ is what I referred to him as. He died on that mountain. Because I was off doing other work in the east. And he died on that mountain, killed by compatriots of this ambitious spellcaster. And I don't know if Sindri ever told me a name. He told me about the situation. He told me about being lost in the wilderness for weeks. He told me about everybody dying on that mountain. With the information I have, Nyx, I can't say he was wrong.
He might not have, but I don't know. You can ask them to tell us their story later.
Later. I don't know. I don't know how productive we can all be.
No, definitely not today.
I asked her to stand down in the ring. I was glad she was cheating.
She... Not. It made you worse.
Not to be rude, but it gave her a chance. If this was so important to her, I hope it at least looked good.
She lasted longer than other people have against you, so
That's very true. There have been people who have lasted shorter times. They're not going to want to be my friend anymore.
I don't know that. You didn't do anything.
I'm not going to leave him. And that might be too much for them. But I can't. The amount of resources and care that he has given me, the amount he's given you and hadn't even met you yet. I'm not leaving him. Not yet. With what I know, no.
I'm not asking you to.
I don't want to get in the way of you having friends, Nix. You should get to have them. And listen, I know you're... We were going through it before we got to this, but friends nonetheless.
What are you saying? I couldn't be friends with them and still be with you? Like,
Well,
I don't see. Like, they can be friends if they can be friends.
Oh, I would never give you an ultimatum, Nix.
Then we're
Never.
on the same page.
We're on the same page. I can't promise they won't.
I think if they were to give me an ultimatum, that would make them not my friends.
They won't give you one. And he smiles a little bit.
Should have just asked to step in on this one.
I feel like that would really fucked over the whole friend thing if you stepped in on this one.
I don't, maybe then Nana would think that I would just need to get my anger out on her. I don't know. Maybe I feel really bad about not talking to her now when she tried to wave me down.
I'm sure everybody will get to talking at some point. And you can see like his eyes flutter a bit. I'm going to be sick. And
Okay.
he kind of like moves away to throw up again. Like he looks like almost like flu-like. It's very strange.
Yeah.
And then kind of comes back over and sits against the statue. Oh, I've never felt like this before. Maybe it was that type of magic, or my whole arm hurts and just like my shoulders. Just feel terrible.
She's not trained in medicine in a normal way at all, and is trying to think of what could possibly be wrong with him.
You can roll medicine, and we'll see if this is something in your purview.
As well, I know the man had a heart attack.
We'll see if Nyx knows those symptoms.
Nyx knows 29, so
That's pretty knowledgeable. You'd probably have a pretty good guess, though heart attack symptoms do present in a lot of other things, but like that is on the list.
I didn't learn like normal doctors would or people that practice medicine. I think he might have had a heart attack. So maybe should just rest here. If something happens, we'll get up. I think it'd be best if we just stay here until it's time to go.
All right. You know, I don't have anyone to ask if it runs in the family, so I'm just gonna blame it on fancy magic for now.
Then maybe the endless amount of that, whatever that thing they made so that you could fight multiple
Ugh.
times.
Yeah, that probably isn't helping. It's probably that if I have to pick a thing. And the fact that someone so vehemently hates a man that I love dearly. I don't think I took it well.
Probably took it as well as anyone could have. I certainly didn't take it well.
Then let's rest for a bit, at least.
Just sit back against the wall. The
Yeah,
statue.
you two sit against the base of this like prancing nude statue and just sit there together. I'll go check in on the Nana bench. Fen is currently just playing doctor and confidant and support and just trying to get things back to a vague neutral. That's the dream. Is there anything particular happening at this bench where Fen, Nana, and Keld are currently?
Nana looks kind of dead on her feet, or on the bench, you know. She's
Dead on her ass.
dead on her ass. She's not
Yeah.
looking well. I mean, technically she is still underbloodied, but it's not that. She's not handling any of this well. She looks like shit.
If only lay on hands cured that.
Yeah, well.
Nice calm emotions, but
Yeah.
I don't think anybody at the bench is packing that.
No, definitely
Fen
not. That
Misty
would've been a
steps
wise
30
thing.
feet away. Is it help?
Yep.
There he
Oh,
goes.
he does he?
Well, there he
Just-
goes. He uses
pops
his last
away.
2 spell slots to Misty step around and come back again. All his spell slots, a shame.
Wow.
What? To leave and come back?
Yeah, he goes away and comes back. His AI is all fucked up.
Fen did give the ring of calm emotions to Roshan, so who has not worn it. So if he might want to get it back since we have that.
Well, Fen's taking requests at this juncture. So Fen kind of like turns to Keld and is like, all right, trade out. So that Nana is not alone and is accompanied at this moment. And he's going to jog over to Roshan and ask politely for the ring of calm emotions back.
Roshan will grab it from a pocket and say, Fen, do you think you could take Nana home?
You see that he looks back at Nana. I can't leave. Not yet. I'm sorry.
I think Roshan puts two and two together and just kind of sighs and nods.
It's not your fault, Fen, but I also can't go yell at Corey.
Yay. Yeah. Take this back to her if you think it'll help.
He kind of like looks at you like with a thank you, and then runs back over to Nana and says, just for a moment until we get our heads on straight. And he's going to physically like take your hand and put the ring on it. Now the thing is, this is not a ring of erase emotion.
Sure.
You can still experience emotion while wearing this particular ring, but it kind of leaves the realm of heightened. So it's like you can be sad and upset, but you are not heightened sad and upset. It is at this moment something you cannot attain is if there's like 3 levels of sadness, you can't get past like 2 occasionally. Like you can hit 2, but then you fall back to a 1. Like you can't go to a 3. So that's kind of what the ring does.
That's kind of nice. In this particular juncture, I mean, at least Nana doesn't look like she's about to fall apart in the middle of this party, which she looked pretty close up on the edge of immediately prior. Thank you. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be on this bench in the middle of all of this with him.
You should go back to the inn then. We'll only be here a little longer. I'll gather everyone up and then we can go.
No sense in splitting the party. That's rather foolish. I can wait somewhere until we go.
We can at least get you off the bench.
I'd like that. I would like that a lot.
Come on. Keld's gonna sort of guide her up.
And we're
God
standing.
bless him. Yeah, Nana
And we're
leans
standing.
on him and on Fen. She's, I mean, obviously not heightened anymore, but, you know, still knocked around physically as well. Potentially maybe a little concussed, who knows? Just, you know, kind of hanging on to her friends and, I don't know, if we could just find somewhere that isn't just out in the middle of everybody and sit, that would be great. I'd like that.
Yeah, I think we can arrange that.
Okay, thank you.
Held and Fen make faces like, yeah, we can figure that out. We're very good at finding
We're
a
really-
place where nobody is. Like,
Well, I mean, like, not
People
nobody.
everywhere.
Nana's not looking for nobody, but, like, she'd like to disappear into the crowd, and sitting on a bench in the middle of the thoroughfare is not that.
We'll at least exit the trauma zone.
The trauma zone, at least, would be a good place to leave. She's not doing great if she glances back towards the pitch, so...
so Keld, you can tell me where we're going, as I assume you're leading this parade, but if we're trying to avoid looking at the circle and where everything just took place, the best option is like going to one of the like main rooms, like the lounge. That's the best way to break contact, because this thing is dead center in the courtyard.
Yeah. I think he'll probably steer Nana towards the lounge.
That seems fine. She probably recognizes where we're heading and then is like, oh yeah, that's probably for the best.
Okay, Fen is going to accompany getting Nana to the room, and for now is going to stay for a moment. He seems like he's waiting to see how things pan out as Roshan finishes his drink. Roshan, you had eyes on basically everybody except Nyx and Russ. They're gone from view. But like you saw Keld, you can see where Nana and Fen are. You can see where anybody you want to see is.
Yeah, I think so while Roshan finishes his drink, he's shell-shocked, and then he catches eyes with people and doesn't understand for a hot minute why it feels weird. And then he starts catching eyes and then smiling back at people. Like, oh yes, I'm not alone. I have emotions. And then he's going to head off toward the handler, and once he can catch their eye, he would like to reach out telepathically from a distance.
Sure. You are able to catch the handler's attention. What do you say?
Oh gosh. He says, that was a surprise to me, as I'm sure it was to you. Just wanted to ask if Sindri is still interested in talking, meeting about us getting Russ's help.
What happened was unfortunate. You are still scheduled for a meeting. If you would like to partake in that now, we are technically in your window. Is it just you?
Hold on just 2 minutes. And Roshan will. Where are they at?
They're in the lounge.
Roshan will turn around, head for the door of the lounge, and probably see Nana, Keld, and Fen heading in that direction. And I think he's like, Nana and Fen are the obvious first choices because reasons, but I think he's going to send a message to Keld instead, do a little spellcraft so that Keld can speak back, and will say, apparently it is our window to talk to the kiln. I understand if you don't want to, but I don't really want to talk to him alone. And I don't trust anyone else to have a polite conversation with him at this juncture.
Killed initially nods and is like, oh yeah.
Nods facing away from Roshan.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm. All right, but I need to make sure Nana gets somewhere safe.
Yeah, I'll tell the handler. And Roshan will turn around and not probably lock eyes, but send a message in their direction and just say, my friend Keld will be joining me presently.
No response is given, but you know that the message was sent.
Great. Left on red. Great.
Yeah, she saw it. You take Nana over to one of these large couches, and I'm going to say you pick the one that is of the ocean and not of the valley, to look out these windows into. And while you're doing that, Fen runs over to the table that makes you any drink you want and is going to get like a warm tea of some sort. And
Get her a
is going
hot
to
milk.
hot milk, please. I'd like it to be slightly toasty. No seasoning, just the milk. Thank you. He comes over with tea and is going to sit down with Nana.
All right. Keld will check in with them and let them know that he's gonna meet with Rashawn for a minute.
Hear you, Nana.
I'll be here. So
All right. I'll be right back.
Okay. And Roshan and Keld, you are together.
Which is probably not far, just across the lounge. And
Yeah.
Roshan will, when we're about 30 feet away and approaching, he will reach out to the handler and say, "Is now okay?"
You see that she kind of stops and seems to like look over at the kiln. And then you hear a voice in your mind beckoning you over.
Roshan will have paused, waiting for an answer, and then continues walking over next to Keld and will do a. Is it more polite to bow or ask for a handshake?
They both have their place. It just depends on what you are portraying, just what you think feels appropriate, because they both are, depending.
Then Roshan will do a little bow and say, "Hello, Sindri, or would you rather be called the Kiln? My name is Roshan, and this is my compatriot Keld."
He smiles, and it's a warm smile. He seems pleasant enough in this moment, as if the moment before was more of a spat between people over the holidays and not a duel that just took place. And he returns the bow to you. Whichever you prefer. I go by both names. The kiln is more formal, if that's how you would like to speak.
Well, then, since we have a request, then I shall call you the Kiln. We were hoping that Russ would be able to accompany my party, my friends, against a ne'er-do-well over here. I'm sure you've heard of him. He goes by the Guard.
Mm.
And we know him to be nefarious and more willing to end the world as we know it with corruption than to preserve it. In fact, from research we've done, we think he means to bring about the Baldekin and collapse the World Tree. We're not sure, but we would like Russ's help to stop that.
You can see that he is reacting in some way to the mention of the Baldekin, and his eyes glance over at the handler, who like kind of gives like an affirmative nod, kind of like, I too heard this. It's kind of like a, yes, I'm confirming, we're all confirming, we're all confirming, we all heard this thing. You watch as the
I know
handler
that
kind
you know
of
that I know.
gives a quick nod, and then you watch as it's the rhythmic shoulder motions as the shoulders kind of move forward 3-4 times and then go back to resting. The kiln looks to you. Of course, Russ may join you in a singular combat with the Guard. he may use any of his resources that he deems fit.
I think Roshan will bow another time and say, "You are most kind. Thank you for this assistance."
Of course, though, to be fair, I do not expect the guard to be a problem for much longer, and gives a little smile. We made sure of that, but seeing as you worry for some sort of Baldecan adjacent calamity, he may not be gone before that, so you may have Russ as a resource.
Are you the root of his illness?
Yes.
Then I suppose we should be thanking you.
I would not go so far.
Well, I think I don't know a good one other than the enemy of my enemy is my friend, but Roshan will say an old Norse adage
Yeah.
right there, and then thank
The
him one more
Viking of
time.
my Jarl is my Jarl. Am I right, boys?
You're totally right. You got it.
The
I
long
did it.
house of my heart is a long home, you know?
Inspiration for me. I'll take it. One for me.
I think you deserved it.
Well, I hope you can handle this mutual problem, and can quell whatever it is that he is currently obsessing over. More harm than good to really have him about.
Definitely.
On that, we can agree. Let us not take up any more of your time then. Thank you for all you have granted us, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the party.
Of course. He puts up a hand like, no.
To
We're still
handshake?
meeting.
No.
No.
Okay.
It is like
Ah, yes.
Hold on.
Not
Then
yet.
Roshan will continue, unless that is you had something to ask of us.
Nothing to ask of you. I do appreciate this cordial conversation. And I think it must show quite the restraint not to ask the million questions you may have. And for that, I am appreciative. I am unsure at this juncture if I will be speaking to Nyx, for I have fully lost sight of her. But if you would like to pass the information along, as per our arrangements, she will be given a relic of worth that she may use for her dealings as she sees fit. Russ will be informed that he has been given these days off so that he may travel with your companions, though he does not have permission at this juncture to engage in combat or unsafe scenarios. And if I do not see her, you can give her my congratulations on the wedding and that they have my blessing.
We can definitely pass that along.
Roshan will nod along with what Kelt said.
Of course. And he looks to both of you. I think we are done here. And gives a bow.
Enjoy the rest of the party, and we'll bow and quickly turn. Not overstaying that welcome.
You can see the handler as you turn, another like quick motion of the shoulders, and then kind of also gives a bow and kind of brushes their outfit back down into place after bowing. But both of you can turn and go. Keld, are you following Roshan? Yeah, man.
I think.
You got something for me?
Keld's got, I think, a few questions regarding Bosch running through his head,
Yeah.
but also
You
just corruption.
you have this guy in front of you if you want to talk to him, but that's up to you.
I think he will stay back a second and can I ask one more thing?
Of course. Keld, was it?
Yes.
Mm.
Nyx is my sister.
Oh. Congratulations, and I'm sorry for your current predicament.
Thanks, I guess. I'm just wondering how long have you been helping with stopping Bosch?
Well, I see no reason to not be straightforward. Bosch is a person of interest that I had reached out to. A person who seemed so skilled with the corruption and the ability that he was spouting that he could vanquish it with a glance, something of interest. And we reached out because we are people of knowledge. I wanted to understand how that was occurring, because what a gift indeed. And he looks over to the lanterns, these beautiful lamps. It would be helpful information to have to make people safe. But to make people safe and to understand science and magic, sometimes you tiptoe on a line. And he veered a bit too far from that line for my grasp. And our ideals no longer align. And he motions to the handler. So we acquired something that would, of its own accord, lull him into painful death.
Keld's looking at the lights now, the lantern. Is this one in the same? Is this
The thing is, I don't think it is. And that may be where the original veering began. What we have here is not a miracle or blessing from a god. This is man's craving to survive on this rock. This is the magic of trying over and over again against something that people said was impossible to quell. And yet we live in a hot spot for corruption, and there is none of it to be seen. It is
right?
because we utilize that corruption. When it comes to the guard, he has sway or power in some way over corruption, is what we were picking up on. And we have our guesses. We believe it's probably a divine gift. There are probably some gods that are interested in the spread and control of corruption, as humanity is not every god's interest. So we believe that it is divinity in some way that gives him this gift,
Mhm.
which is not helpful to us.
No, definitely not helpful. Too harmful, but this seems very helpful.
I hope it is. Once we are sure of this make, because there is something special about having direct access to the skull that makes using magics and instruments like this easier. But to be able to take just directly from the earth is a feat. And this is sort of a soft launch, if it were. And we hope that, based on the current situation and choices of very powerful people making magical choices, making things worse for others, that hopefully something like this, and motions to the lanterns, can make it right.
I feel like we were meant to meet here at this point. Because that's all we've been looking for, is something to make it better.
If perchance you were able to also provide us with more information, as that is a gift. We know that Chief Hemming's son was making some sort of plan. Sadly, we were unable to get the broader strokes, I suppose. And he didn't give me much choice in talking to him about it. But something changed quite recently after his death. And if I were to know what that was, I would have an easier time fixing it. Because the East is being swallowed.
You're saying that's what changed?
I fully believe that is the reason that the East is currently in peril.
Interesting. I feel like more and more mysteries keep popping up.
What a mystery it is. But hopefully I can shine a light on something. If there's anything you can do to help, I would be appreciative.
I am trying.
I can see that. I can see that you care.
Thank you. Sorry to keep you.
No, that's fine. And he is going to extend a hand for a handshake.
Killed will return the handshake.
And he smiles up at you. Do your best to enjoy the rest of the party.
I'll do my best.
I'm sorry to have ruined it for your compatriots.
It was only a matter of time, I think.
I have a feeling. Night, Kelvin. And the handler gives you a bow and will turn and follow him as he goes to continue socializing. And people seem to be like, tell me about the very cool lanterns and these lamps, how fun. And he's like, I'd love to tell you about them in a way as if I was explaining it to a child, because there's no way I could explain to you exactly what's going on and you understand. Random older woman at this party. But she wants to know.
Explain it to the boomer.
She's like, yeah, is it like a whiffy thing, or like,
Is it in a
what is
cloud?
it? How does yeah, but like, is like, can you take the corruption like out and put it in like a new file? Like, I'm just trying to figure it out.
Do I
But
have to
he's
be
off.
at home in order to receive the corruption, or can I receive the corruption anywhere?
Yeah. I forgot my password to corruption. It's your fault. But yeah, Roshan, you see that Keld stayed behind for like a few minutes and then makes his way away.
Yeah, I think it takes Roshan till he's like halfway across the room to realize Keld's no longer beside him. And at that point, he's like, Well, it'd be real awkward to turn around, so he keeps going. Um, is I mean, his next the next thing he wants to do is wait for Egil to be free. But
Mhm.
is this where the dancing is in the lounge?
No, the dancing's in the ballroom.
Okay. Okay. Then I think he would head vaguely in that direction.
Okay. And everybody from where they are a bit scattered at this party, going to take their next steps to either dance or just figure out how they can get out of here as quickly as possible. But for now, we are going to take our 10-minute break. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Go get a snack and a drink, and we will be back in 10 minutes or like immediately. But we're back. Amazing, astounding magic. Thank you for being here. Welcome back to the Dice Cult for episode 164 of On the Backs of Gods. We just took our break. Currently, the party is a bit split in positioning and possibly opinion. Nyx and Russ are off near the entrance, sort of getting their bearings after this combat. Nana and Fen are doing the same, but in the lounge with a nice cup of tea. Roshan went and spoke to Sindri, the kiln, with Keld in tow, and basically confirmed without much struggle that, yeah, of course, Russ is at your disposal for this event. That was basically already a given in his mind. And then gives his congratulations to Nyx, says that, of course, an item of worth will be given to you so that you may trade it as you see fit. But that Russ cannot participate in anything dangerous involving that event. And then Keld
We'd
stays
rather he
behind
not
for
do
a
anything
moment.
dangerous anytime soon anyway, I think.
You know, Keld stays behind to talk to the kiln and learns that this guy is actively trying to stop the influx of corruption and has made these lanterns that feed on it, that make the skull a safe place to live. And Keld, you were one of the people that heard the woman in the gold armor who complimented Thor and her gang, that what she did was that she used to lead like a small army of sorts, that their whole job was destroying corrupted things around the skull, keeping that area safe, and that she's retired now, that she no longer does that job. So those things kind of tie in mind for you that something's working. You don't know if it seems like it's this. It presents that way. And for everybody heard his speech. Nana and Fen got to hear the matron talk about how that she thinks you could fall dead on the earth at this party and could lay there for weeks based on what she was feeling. That this place seems safe, that something here made it safe. And can't refute that. But that's where we are currently. Is there anything anybody wanted to do? People to see, things to do? Anything of note?
Nana's a little clingy on Fen. I genuinely don't think that it is on purpose to hold him in place. I think she genuinely kind of needs an anchor at the moment, and she's not trying to like be all over him, but I think maybe she's like holding his hand or something while she's also nursing her tea.
He currently sits there, seems a bit like antsy a little bit, but he's not like actively like, well, you can hold your own hand. I got places to be.
Yeah, right?
So he's currently just staying there with you at this moment. Keld, were you gonna go back to them or are you going somewhere else? What's your impulse?
I think his focus was going to be to return to Nana first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You make your way back over to Fen and Nana. They're just sitting on a couch drinking tea, holding hands.
Mm.
I mean, Nana's got the ring of calm emotions on. She's obviously not in danger of having any kind of episode. She doesn't seem like she's on the verge of tears or a breakdown, but she's still very much in her head at the moment. Just because she's calm doesn't mean that she's not upset.
Fair. I think Keld will put a hand on her shoulder. How we doing?
Well, the ring's helping.
Good. Huh. They have tea
Is that-
here?
Yeah, it's pretty good. What kind did you say it was, Fen?
He kind of like narrows his eyes a bit. I
Mm.
just asked for tea. Like he did not specify particular tea, and it was kitchen's choice.
Smells like
Got it.
mulberry.
It's nice.
You
good.
should get some.
I might do that later. We've still got a night to get through.
Fen nods and is gonna like squeeze your hand, Nana, and then he's going to stand up and he's going to like motion for Kel to like step a little bit away with him.
Hmm.
Nana will let him stand up and she'll let him go. Just kind of like nurse her tea with both hands. She's not gonna be like.
That's a shame that you think you can go places.
How dare you? No. No, Nana will just kind of sit on the couch and kind of just hang out, sip her tea.
Fen kind of like leans in close and talks softly. Keld, I know you were going off to do something, but could you watch Nana for a moment?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. I'll be right back. And Fen is going to walk out of the lounge. I can't hear you.
Sorry, I forgot I'd muted. Was that quiet enough for Nana to not hear any of it?
It was not something you could hear, but you could see Fen leaving.
I think her shoulders kind of slump and she just sort of sits there for a bit and sips her tea.
Keld's gonna sit with her for a little bit. He said he'd be back in a little bit.
Yeah. Doing whatever Kareen wants him to do.
He has been running around quite a bit.
Sure she's got him on some kind of game. I've gone
I
and
feel like there are a number of games going on right now, don't you?
more than a few.
Wish there were some fun ones.
I'm not
think
even
Keld's
sure
gonna,
if I
like-
remember what fun's like anymore.
Then we'll have to remind you.
Hmm.
Keld's gonna look around the lounge to see if there's any of the ladies here. Any friendly faces.
I would say that why don't we roll a luck
Or
check?
Grassy or May.
Yeah, they are within like noticing reach. Like you could
Cool.
get somebody's attention.
I think Keld will wave towards them.
And they kind of like us over there. Okay.
Okay.
The three of them will come over. Hey,
Hey.
thanks for calling me over, Keld. Happy to be here.
Hey, you came over.
I did.
I need help shifting the spirits. I think we need to
Uh.
get this one off the couch.
I can't. Okay. I
Your
can't
tea's
leave.
nearly done.
Yeah, my tea is nearly done. I need something to occupy me. I can't leave this party right now. I'd really like to, but I can't. So, whatever you all think would be best. A little bit of distraction would probably go a long way, unless you're
That's what I'm
really keen
thinking.
to delve into all this shit.
You can see like Maggie's sitting there and like she looks like uncomfortable, like the most uncomfortable you've ever seen Maggie.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Hmm.
I can't help it. And she like leans forward and does like a this motion with her hand and she
Yeah.
prestidigitates your makeup back into position
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it was driving her insane. She's like,
Of
oh,
course it
God.
was. Of
It's like
course it
there's like a
was.
pimple on someone's face and she's like, I gotta pop that pimple. But it was like, but it was like, your
no.
makeup's so fucked up, please. And
Yeah,
just
no, she had a
prestidigitates
rough
the
time.
smudges away.
There
Bless
we
her.
go.
Bless
That's
her. At
better.
least she looks like she's together again.
So are we dancing? What do we want to go do? Are we gonna go dance? Kel, you said you hadn't danced yet.
I haven't really danced.
I haven't either.
You said it
Let's
so
go.
sad. Oh my God.
It's not
and
been a fun time here. I've not been enjoying myself.
and
There's weird things in the dance hall.
What weird
well,
things?
I was just gonna say then we'll avoid them, but I guess what weird things, Kel?
I don't. Has Nana heard anything about the weird things in the dance hall yet? The ice wall, the ghost, the hair, the anything?
Maybe she hasn't.
I'm not sure if she has.
I think as they're walking to the dance hall, Kel will tell them
Uh-huh.
about the fountain.
Gressa murmurs under her breath, that's really fucked up. Like just like murmurs.
I feel like I'm going crazy.
It sounds like you're actively losing it.
Well, it's
Maybe.
that, or maybe there's, I don't know, maybe there's a spirit hanging out in the fountain.
I haven't been able to prove it. Nyx couldn't see anything.
Well, I haven't got my lantern of revealing, unfortunately. That's back at the inn. But I mean, I
Thor
can take a
looks
look
at you,
around.
Keld. Keld, aren't you a paladin? You swore an oath, right?
Hmm.
Can't you like feel the undead?
Maybe I could.
Hey, wait, drinks have you had tonight?
A few.
Oh no, we got him fucked up.
Oh, I thought you smelled a little. That's okay.
I didn't even think about that.
That's all right.
I mean, if
okay.
there's a ghost, you'll see it immediately. If there's not a ghost, then you can rule out ghost or ghost left. Those are,
There
Hmm.
you go. There's some options for you. And, more eyes on the thing. Maybe there's somebody else will catch a glimpse.
As you guys are walking, you do see that Fen has gone over and is talking to General Talarin.
I think Nana, kind of gives Keld a little bit of a poke
Hmm.
and nods at Fen. It's not who he was talking with yesterday, but similar situation, I think.
That's who Nyx has been talking to.
That troubles me.
Are you going to the dance hall or are you doing something else? Fully up to you.
Do you want to keep an eye on him for a minute?
A minute. A minute. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we don't have to make it obvious. Let's not stare, but
We can meet you
Yeah.
guys at the dance hall.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you see, they all took like a casual pose.
Right.
Oh, thank
Yep.
God.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. It's all right.
Uh,
Yeah, no, it's all right. We'll catch up. Thank you.
All right. And the
We'll
three
be
of
there
them make their way to the dance floor. You guys getting closer? Are you like going over? It's a conversation happening like in the main thoroughfare. It's not like off in a corner.
Hmm.
I mean, I've been trying to observe from the outside in, and it hasn't been doing much yet. And quite frankly, I think this is the most
Why
together
don't
I've
you
been.
why don't you go let him know we're heading to the dance hall and he should meet us there, but approach real slow.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's fair. Um, I'll go up. Would you mind sort of like keeping an eye? You can come or no, it's up to
Hmm?
you. But just keep an eye on him.
Eyes on.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I think Nana kind of like gives Keld like a very gentle, like warm, like pat on the hand. Like it's not quite a full like embrace because that's not the sort of thing you just do on a whim at this kind of party, but like it's just a clasp of the hand and a squeeze. Um and she nods and kind of like makes her way gradually over towards Fen. I mean, similar sort of energy to I would like to insert myself at a moment where it is not a hindrance to the conversation that's happening.
As you approach, the conversation is not like in hushed tones. It's at
Yeah.
a casual volume. And
Mhm.
as you approach, you can hear that Fen says that he is um, giving this information because you seem to be very friendly with Nyx and you have been kind to us and you are our friend, and is telling the story of what just happened, is explaining and like putting things together for General Talaran, explaining what happened on the mountain, explaining why that fight just took place, and is talking to her about that.
He's just giving the entire story truthfully.
Well, you didn't hear the whole thing.
That's fair. Up to like from the moment she starts hearing him speak, I guess is all at least factual as far as she can hear.
Yeah, it seems to all be factual.
Okay. About what point in the narrative does she kind of like walk in?
You're at the point of him describing, he's not describing in detail, but he is talking about being on the mountain, and he is talking about how Ave was felled, that this is the man who felled Ave, and like who Ave is. And Fenn's talking and he's like, and he had a spear, he had that spear on his back, and he like reaches over and like clasps the scimitar, like it was right here, like giving the whole shebang of it all. It was right here. And General Talern's just like nodding along and like listening and is like, I'm so sorry that that is your struggles. Oh, and you're just taking it in. They seem to be having
Yeah.
that conversation. You approach.
Okay. Um, I suppose at whatever point where she can kind of slide in, she'll kind of give a little bit of an a bow to General Talaran. Don't mean to interrupt. I suppose Fen was putting things into context for you.
Oh yeah, he's nice enough to come over and start telling me your sad story. I mean, who doesn't have one? Am I right?
Seems very common. Very
Less snowy mountains in my sad stories, but you know, yours sounds very, very cool with your mountain.
Well, it was bitterly cold. That's
Mm.
definitely certain. And well, not an experience I'd repeat. I'm sure you've had similar.
And I have no intent on going on your mountain, and I've never been. I've been
I don't
on mountain
recommend it.
adjacent
It's
things.
it's pretty
Oh,
miserable.
mercy.
It's not well acclimated to tourism, travel,
Mm,
safety, survival.
ah,
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
sounds pretty bad.
So, I do apologize. I only wanted to borrow Fen long enough to let him know that I'm going with Keld and Thorm, Maggie, and Gressa. We're going to the dance hall. If you wanted to meet us later on, that's where we'll be.
He looks to you and then looks to General Talaran and is like, thank you for listening to me. I appreciate you letting me tell you this story and to keep you in the loop because I think it's important. And then is going to give her a bow and he'll follow you.
Okay. It's a weird denouement to that conversation, but
Yeah,
alrighty.
I mean, he got the good parts in. He's like, this is the event that led to this event. The middle stuff will take me 6 hours.
That's true. That's so true. It took us like what, 3 years?
Yeah.
Anyway.
So he's like, I can't condense that. So
No.
so he's basically like, I gave you context. You have context
Yeah.
now. And
Yeah.
we'll go to the dance hall with you.
Cool. I think on the way to the dance hall, Nana is like, I'm just curious. Did she ask?
No, but she's been nothing but pleasant, and Nyx likes her, and I thought it was important.
All right. I'd have liked it if he might have, I don't know, mentioned it first. That's all.
Would you like to stay and give her more information?
No, not really.
I
Rather
just
dance
didn't
with-
think it was something you might want to talk about right now. But it's good to keep our allies informed.
Can't argue with that. It's good tactics, Fen. Let's go to the dance hall.
All right.
I haven't danced at all at this party. Sure you've had some, but I mean, there was
She
some
danced
last
with
night. But
Keld.
I did dance with Keld. That is true. I did dance with Keld, and I had some dancing at the second night of the party. That is true. It's
More.
just more dancing, more Keld.
Mm.
Keld.
So you two start to go that way, and you see
Is
Fen
Mr.
like
Spide in there? No.
you watch Fen sort of slow in step for a moment,
Mm-hmm.
and then picks back up, just like a moment of just like, and then goes back to normal cadence.
Okay. What's up? Anything on your mind?
Nothing I could articulate. Just
It's going around a lot.
just figuring everything out.
Yeah.
And you guys go dance, and
Yes, we
everyone's
do.
dancing.
Yep. It is a
And
better
I gotta
use
talk
of.
to the fountain.
Yeah, we gotta see
I
what's up
have
with this
some
fountain, man.
stern words for this fountain.
I
You all
would
make
like
your
to
way.
inquire with this fountain's manager.
You make your way in, and the thing is, like, Roshan's also like, and I'm here. Go this way a little bit.
So I think Roshan was heading in that direction. Is there any chance he sees Dagwood on his way over there? Because I don't think
Yes.
Dagwood's in there.
No. Dagwood went back to that original bench that you had taken her to, and she's just chilling there. It seems she acquired a drink at some point, and then was like, this is the bench I will stay at, and just seems to be sitting there alone.
A safe bench.
I think Roshan would go and join her.
Okay.
Does she say anything as he approaches, or does she wait for him to talk?
She doesn't say anything, but she does like scoot over slightly because she is in the center of the bench and moves to like a side of the bench instead of being like, I'm in the middle.
It's okay. Roshan has a canonically small ass.
Yeah. Ass canonically small.
He has to be the counterweight to Nana's canonically thick with 3 C's and a Q ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I feel like Dagwood also is not just like the thickest of ass.
Probably like a moderate ass, but like probably not
Like
a bubble
average
butt.
to like leaning flat, you know? Like I feel like that's where Dagwood's
Alright,
ass is.
alright. That
Dagwood's
makes
very
sense.
like slender and like
She's-
straight bodied.
She's
So it's
aerodynamic.
there's no room for ass. There's
She's
no room.
all magic, all muscle.
Yeah, perfect. But she scoots over so that you can sit down next to her and like is taking sips from her drink.
I think Roshan asks 2 things at the same time. One out loud and one silently. Out loud, he says, Ave left something for me, and I'd like you to tell me what it is. And in her mind, at the same time, he says, probably a little bit more alarmed than he's letting off outwardly, but he says, it has become exceedingly pertinent to know all about the kiln and what I need. Please tell me about him.
And she looks at you and says out loud, I can't. I physically cannot.
And in her mind, I think he'll just look dumbly at her. In her mind, will say, is your answer to both of them?
She's speaking out loud because she's just like, I haven't said anything that I think's wrong yet. I don't fully understand the other question, but at this juncture, I could talk about the average thing in regards to this individual. I cannot talk deeply.
Is there a time outside of the auspices of this party that we could meet?
Possibly not. And location will not affect my ability, just in case that was in question.
I think he's looking a little defeated and will ask in her mind, is there anything you can tell me?
Give me some specifics, and I will work with what I can. I swore an oath under a beautiful spear, and I can't break that.
But you could kill an emissary.
Well, he's a bastard, and he wasn't included in my oath. And she finishes her drink.
So that was entirely about him and not about the other.
Yes. Though I do have my feelings for that man. But I was able to express my feelings for the redhead.
Is there anything we can do to help you, to help keep you safe, to get you out of trouble?
I'm sure some wildly powerful magics could assist in this in some way. But
Stab right in the gut to Roshan.
she doesn't even know there's a wish in play. She's just like, real powerful magic is cool.
Yeah, it is.
That could be of assistance, but at this point, I have sort of accepted my current status and am taking it for what it's worth. And the redhead worked so hard to drag me across the continent, so I would hate to make him do it again.
That gives Roshan pause, and he's like, ah, great. Did you want me to send Marcher over?
And she like looks over and can physically see Marcher, standing awkwardly a good bit away, but still standing there. No, I'm sure he's going to decide when he's coming over at some point. And I'll let him figure that out. Let him sit in the moment, you know?
What I wouldn't do to eavesdrop on that conversation, but I want you to trust me, so I'll leave you to it.
Roshan, I trust you implicitly.
I think he's reading subtext behind that. And I think that soothes him a little bit, and he'll just smile and nod to her and get up to leave.
You and your crew have always had a knack for picking up interesting companionship.
I think Roshan just lets out like a uh, a a laugh that is concerning, and says, "We sure do that." Speaking of, where's Morden this evening?
Oh, I wouldn't subject him to this. He's back at home base.
I'm surprised you subjected yourself.
I swore an oath to be cordial. I'm being cordial.
Well, if you need anything, or you suddenly become forthright,
Mm.
please feel free to reach out.
Well, we are currently working on many interesting and honestly, in some ways, astounding, and kind of like motions a hand to one of these lamps. So I'm quite busy, but if perhaps I were to have a change of heart, I'll be sure to contact.
Then thank you. And Roshan will step away, feeling like he needs to go look at one of these lamps.
All right, you make your way over to one of these lamps that you would, I believe, saw on your first night in town.
Yep.
But did not want to risk sticking your hand through the gate to get within 30 feet, which, you know, valid. We don't know what that gate could do.
Yeah.
What that
but
gate do, we don't know.
what that gate do. You start to make your way over and get to one of the lanterns, and you feel somebody kind of like step in next to you. I hate to be forward, but you are ravishing. If it would not be too much trouble in asking you for a dance, would you oblige me?
Only if you spin me enough that I can't think straight.
Meet cute, meet cute.
We'll just talk about dancing and the music and the lighting. And he will extend like his arm for you to take it.
Roshan will abandon the lamp for boyfriend and
Boyfriend, much
take the
better.
arm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he smiles, and you can feel like literal, like more than human warmth coming from him. And you think his outfit is like almost like a heater in and of itself that is actively keeping him warm and on theme. He's like, if I'm spending a shit ton of money on this outfit, it better be toasty. But
Fashionable and functional. That is Eagle.
all of you are currently in the ballroom. What are we doing? Besides dancing, besides Roshan being spun so aggressively that he can't think.
Golly, I guess it's mainly dancing primarily. Nana's doing her best to learn steps. She's not up on the trends, tell you that much. She's kind of enjoying herself though.
Keld, anything in particular?
Yeah, he's gonna find a moment to divine sense this fucking fountain.
Yeah.
You kind of, I'm casual in the space. What are your secrets? And you turn your focus. And the fountain in and of itself, there is nothing to be seen. You approach it and you kind of casually walk around it looking for that like telltale glow that you've seen before. And what are the categories? Celestial, Fae, Fiend, Undead?
Yes. I don't see Fae, but I see Celestial, Fiend, or Undead.
Gotcha. I was just like, I just know that I think that's on somebody's list. I don't know. That's on
And
somebody's
it's within
list.
60 feet.
Okay. I mean, you could get this. Hell, you could do this whole party
Like,
if you
how
went
big
jogging.
is this room?
Yeah, I mean, not that big, is it? Well, I mean, it's big enough for a dance hall.
It is the biggest of the rooms, but it's not like you couldn't in 10 minutes walk around it.
Yeah.
Keld, you go into the space. Some energies are picked up. None of them are coming from the fountain. There is somebody that like walks by and you get like a hint, like a just a tiny little hint of like fiend from this individual. And you're like, I don't know if this is any of my business. That this just seems kind of like a person and you are not my focus. But there's just a guy who walks by who fits a bit into, I guess, that realm of fiend. The fountain is empty of any of those energies. There's no death. There's no residue of death to be seen.
Of course it is.
Lean is a goddamn whistle.
Because it saw me coming.
Does he
Knew
get
I
any?
was coming.
Does he get any
Sounds-
double pings for vampire boyfriends?
Are they dancing?
Well, it seems we've come to a head, haven't we, friends?
Oh my! Are they vampire boyfriends or aren't they?
Keld, you make your way around the room and are like, the fountain not pinging. So you kind of like do a walk of the fountain, which does take up a good central walk of this thing. And there are two boyfriends enjoying each other's company with some light dancing as well, being very close to Alder. That is their the intent. Both of them are giving undead energy. Both of them are undead.
None
I
of
am
my
so
business.
surprised.
Everyone, a shock, awe.
Oh, I'm very
Nothing
surprised.
pinging on Alder.
You look at Alder.
Does sadness come
Nothing.
up on this?
The sad, you ping an energy
The
of sorrow, but
sad-o-meter.
that's just something you pick up on.
Yeah, that's just me.
That's just you being like, this man's very upset.
Maybe he needs the calm emotions ring.
You want this ring, dude? But then how could I feel it?
I need to feel it for my music.
You
Yeah,
got me
but
there.
nothing nothing else seems to be standing out to you at this time.
Hmm. God, I wish Russ were in this room. Anyways.
I wish that motherfucker was here. You can start jogging and look for him. You have 10
could.
minutes.
Yeah.
Could find us
Uh,
easily with your ring.
That's
That
true.
is
You know where
also
Nyx is at all
true.
times.
Yeah, I don't think that's something
We're
that
here.
pops into Keld's mind. Just mine.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
me.
that's fair. Keld's a bit
Um,
deep in his cups to be thinking about going places.
So, dance.
Dance.
Dance,
All right.
dance, dance, dance.
All
Dance.
of you come in here and dance, and you kind of get to see just the barrage of characters that make their way through, people in their beautiful outfits, and the magic that kind of explodes off of them and envelops the space in a kind of like overstimulating way when a bunch of people are dancing, but all of them have magical effects on them. So it's like a kaleidoscope in some ways when
Double
certain people
extra.
go past each other.
Mm.
There are plenty of people walking around here having a good time, getting drinks and eating. Fen is kind of staying on like the sidelines of the dance floor, like I'm not going in the middle, because everyone will accidentally touch me. So,
Yes. And
Fen
that's
sort of
about
is
where
like,
Nana's hanging out
I'll
as well.
participate.
Yeah, we are participating. We are dancing. We are near the dance floor.
Yeah. Is there anything else you guys wanted to do? Nyx, you just hanging out with Russ?
Yep, just making sure he feels better. Probably
Yeah.
like freezing ice on her hands to help him cool down.
Yeah, I got you.
Mm.
And he seems to be getting composure back, but like, dude looked pretty rough.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, she's not trying to let him leave and go back
Yeah.
into that party if she can help it.
Roshan just wanted to kind of relax and talk to Egil and tell him that he thinks we're gonna go to the woods for a couple days, hopefully find out something with Nyx's curse. My sister might be coming back. There's a lot of things going on, and how long will you be in town?
I don't have an exact timeline yet, but I do expect I will be here for a while longer after this party is through.
Well, I'll let you know when we're coming back, and maybe we can. Honestly, I love my friends, but I'd just like to spend some time with you.
I think that sounds like a deal.
It's a date.
Well, there you go. I'll make sure to put it on my calendar.
I'll make sure to tell you what day that it can happen.
Perfect. I will keep the calendar at the ready.
And I think Roshan just relaxes while flirting.
Yeah. I think Eagle in this moment is, at least for him, is picking up that, there are a lot of times where I ask, is everything good? Can we talk about what's going on? And he makes the choice to be like, I don't think I'm gonna. I don't think there's anything I could do in this moment to help. And if somebody wants to talk to me about it, they can. But we have veered away from that in everything Roshan has said. And he's like, all right, not even a hint of it. So Egil will follow that and be like, all right,
He understood the assignment.
Yep.
Dancing is the best way you can be of use right now.
People are dancing. You guys drink if you want, talk if you want. There is a point where after dancing for a good bit, Eagle does kiss your hand, Roshan. You said that you wanted to talk before you left. If that's still on the table, you can hit me up tomorrow.
Yeah, I think they're going to want to leave early. So perhaps I'll catch you when we're back in town.
All right.
And I think Roshan, as they're parting, just whispers, "And I love you." Like as they're parting, so there's no chance that Eagle has to say it back.
And you place these words into the space between you, and Eagle is immediately back in that space and kisses you before giving you a respectful bow and returning to the Lady Lord for his position.
And then he kisses her.
And then he kisses her. Hey!
We all
Smooches for
start
everyone.
kissing everybody.
Everybody gets
Smooches all around.
smooches.
This would be a much better
Um,
party if it were about smooching and not fighting.
There are plenty of people who are here for smooching.
It
That's
could be.
true.
You guys could have made it about smooching.
And lo, we really missed out on that.
Yeah,
You
you
should have
guys
challenged
really
Russ to
going to
tongue wrestling.
smooch the man who killed her
kiss
brother.
to death.
I'll kiss you to death.
Okay. All right.
You like
Seems
kisses?
inappropriate. You like kisses? Well,
Ooh. I'll
just
fix you.
chapsticking real aggressive.
Oh, God.
Anywho,
Yeah.
plenty of people at this party are making out. Yeah, hard not to with the very provocative art all about the place. I think it sets a mood for some people.
Yeah.
But Roshan, after Eagle has sort of like walked off and like the kind of like the high of the moment, like, the scene has settled, thematically. You hear somebody behind you kind of like clear their throat. Excuse me.
Roshan, does he recognize the voice?
Does sound familiar. Not like the most familiar voice you've ever heard, but does sound familiar.
Roshan will turn around to see who it is.
You see actual vampire boyfriends
Okay.
standing behind you. You see the man with the darker skin and short curlier hair sort of kind of steps forward. If I may, I don't want to intrude. I especially did not want to intrude on your moment. But you gave us such a gift by requesting a beautiful song, and we appreciate that. And I deeply appreciate that. And I noticed something about your person, and I wanted to inform you of it. And if you do not wish for me to speak about something like this, then I shan't. But I wanted to, it felt wrong not to bring it to your attention if it was not currently at your attention.
Please, anything that I've missed? Something?
This would be, I think, a difficult thing to assess on oneself if it was not drastic. You are missing time? Oh.
I thought they were gonna say somebody put a kick me sign on Roshan.
Like somebody put a sticker on your bag that said "kick me," and we felt really bad about it.
Thanks, Vampire
No,
I
Boy.
thought they were
it's-
gonna say, "You've got a lot of sadness, my guy."
You're so full
And
of
we're into
sorrow,
that.
and that's our favorite thing.
You are a sad, sad
We
boy.
saw you across
love
the dance
that.
hall, and we love your vibe.
the vibe you're giving off, it matches the music and the theme. It was really cool.
Perfect.
No, they
It's
say that you're
so
missing time.
Mhm.
He says, I'm not quite sure what that means.
From the
It's a hard thing to explain. I'll do my best. So it's possible you are not aware of it because it does not seem like a large amount of time. But it seems the best example I could give is sometimes when you are dealing with certain entities, I know this to be true of ghosts, certain magics, that time can be taken from you, that the body can age and wither in the presence of certain powers and activities and energies, and you are actively missing time from something I think akin to this. And it's not a lot. I can tell it's a small amount, and if it was more, I think maybe you notice small things. But to ease your mind at this point, you could speak to a cleric and have it settled quite readily.
Thank you for letting me know. How is it that you can see this sort of thing?
Everyone has their own gifts when it comes to magic and how it interacts with the world, and we are very good at reading people and the essence that they put into the space, and you can feel life in people, and you can tell when it's been tampered with.
Well, thank you for sharing. I don't currently know any clerics, but I'm sure we'll come across one soon.
Of course, and I know there are clerics in town. I'm not sure if they have this ability, but if you need one, but I'm sure you will find one.
Thank you for telling me. Would either of you care for a dance?
They both look at each other, and the one long, kind of curlier blonde hair is like, please don't let me intrude, kind of just with his arms in his face, like, please, who am I? I shan't interfere with you and your time. And this man will step in and dance with you.
The blonde-haired one or the...
No, the blonde
No.
one's like, no, you two
No.
dance, it's cool. In more of like a cheeky, fun way.
Sure. And Roshan will let the taller vampire lead, who he just thinks is a man.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll just dance with him.
Okay. And dances are had. You are able to get food and drink. The ladies are happy to tote you around the place.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
I think Nana is low key sort of like staying with Fen. She is not constantly dancing with him, but she's kind of like with him in her periphery as often as she can manage.
Yeah, he doesn't leave the space.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Cool. Good. Party time. Dance. Good.
Yeah.
Nana is content.
And one could say a reasonable amount of time passes.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people that start to leave. You do see that Riley is picked up by her nanny, and Riley is fully out.
Of course.
It's like 11 p.m. Riley's out.
And she ate she may not have eaten all the candies. She did eat
true.
at least one, though.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
even
true.
another one.
But they make their way out. You see that like more band kind of starts to come in, and all of you begin to like start to do that migration where it's like, all right, we're at the farthest side from the entrance.
Mm-hmm.
We could start getting closer to the exit. And people, you start to meander your way around. Maybe you get your last drink of the night or your last snack, get your last piece of this party that is enjoyable in some way. You see like a few things as you're walking by. You see just people talking and having a good time, drinking, laughing, nude bodies strewn across a tree, the normal things. You see Eolilt, the Illithid queen, the partner to the embrace, is holding his hand and sort of like leaning in the direction of the dance floor. And you see the embrace finally relent, and for the first time will follow her to this room and will go dance with her. They get to enjoy that moment together. You also see a slightly familiar gnomish man who looks like he's finished up his last drink for the night, in his beiges and red cheeks. And he looks like he's heading out, and he makes his way, and he sort of stumbles a bit on the cobblestone, and you watch his glasses sort of skid across, and he's like,
Oh no.
oh, and he begins to reach forward for them, and his hand touches another hand, furry and brown, nails painted a beautiful purple, as a tall bugbear woman stands up at full height, holding his glasses in hand. You dropped these, and leans down to his level and puts them back on his face, and he looks up at her and extends his hand upward to take hers and kisses it as they begin their first conversation together.
No,
Maybe
this
given
is the best thing to come out of this whole party.
as they find this moment for each other. As you are leaving the ballroom, a few more musicians come in to take over, because you can see that Alder is wrapping up, and he does a bow, and he begins to stalk his way about a step away from, like, he takes his bow, begins to step, and you hear this terrible cracking sound as the icicle falls from the ceiling and lands next to him in the spot he was standing moments before. And he takes a moment and he looks at it. And he continues his trudge off of the stage.
Sir will not be dying in this film.
He makes his way away. You're in the main thoroughfare.
Just like as we are sort of filing our way from the ballroom and kind of like making our way past this big fountain, I guess Nana kind of wants to give it a last look over, see if anything jumps out at her as being weird.
Roll insight.
Sure. Let's see. 17?
You look over the fountain, and there is nothing of note to you. You can see where the water is fed through, kind of under this lip, under the statue of this big sculpture of ice itself, but like nothing weird.
Well, maybe it's a spirit, maybe it's not. Whatever it is, it's not coming with us. And we're leaving. And that's fine by Nana.
You begin to make your way around, and Fen sort of like leans in. Should we say our goodbyes to people that we know?
Probably so, yeah. Yeah, I think so. Probably looks like it. Most everybody else I can see is sort of making their way towards the exit.
And you are able to as a group, if you are so inclined, say goodbyes to General Talarin. You're able to go even like if you want to go like, hello, Lady Lord and Eagle, goodbye, thank you, beautiful party. And make your way around, and you stumble basically into Alyona, who kind of meets you in the main thoroughfare, your group, as you are making your way out, sans Nyx. And she looks to all of you. You're heading out?
Yeah, it's
It's time.
late
Mm.
enough.
Well, she looks at Roshan. I might as well do it now. Give everyone a show. She starts walking towards the tree.
Oh,
So I
okay.
think Roshan dances until like there's no one dancing anymore, and then is when he's walking out with his friends, things begin to set in, and then seeing Alyona, his eyes just go wide, and he's like, let's watch, and then we'll follow.
I guess. What is okay? I'm here for a show.
And as you're walking, there's a point where Alyona kind of like puts a hand out towards you as she gets closer to the tree, and it's like a, you should stop here kind of motion.
Hang back.
As she walks over and stands in front of the tree and looks up at all the people in it. Hello, little flesh ornaments. You have seen 3 nights of trivial magic. Let me show you actual power. And she roots herself in place in front of the tree. And you watch the cyan gems on her body begin to illuminate and glow, the one that was hers and the one that was her partner's. When she opens her mouth to speak, white light drips from it, and her eyes go white with the same energy. She speaks in her native tongue, calling out to the universe, the god that orbits her, and asks for a favor. She is rooted to the ground. This power in this moment, Alyona feels heavy, dense like a dwarf star. Concentrated energy in one small space. The grass at her feet tears away at the root and shrivels and darkens. Her hat is thrown from her head as her hair whips about her face. The fabric of her blue and yellow party wear burns away, leaving her only with her jewelry in this moment, and the designs it reveals, drawn on her skin in a dark soot as she stands before the tree. The light forces her shadow to expand over the rest of the grounds behind her, though the shape of it warps from her nude feminine form to that of a more masculine, armor-wearing, presenting figure, in the shape of a hammer in hand that wavers behind her. And she makes her ask to the universe. This is the height of her magic that she can muster without ritual. This is the power that she garners from her own will, her own magic, no preparation. Energy reverberates through the courtyard, hitting the magical dome overhead and then reverberating back down, filling the space. It almost feels like you're kind of in the ocean and getting hit back and forth with different waves from different directions. And you watch as that shadow that she has cast begins to move up her feet and to her legs. And you can see that this like inky dark shadow, it looks like it is almost trying to claw its way up her body. It is a malicious energy that begins to make its way up, looking for something. Alyona is going to roll a d20. If she gets a nat 1, she is going to lose the ability to ever cast Wish again. Okay. And she finishes her ask, and this energy that was creeping up her body is forced back down, unable to grab what it was seeking in this moment. And it just leaves almost a dejected thing as her shadow shrinks back down to normal size as she stands before the tree. And you watch her body slump a bit. She looks a bit weak on her feet, arms very lax at her sides as she stares at the tree. And you can see the people who were in the tree, the ornaments, as it were, clinging to the tree for dear life and being such close vicinity to what has occurred. And she relaxes in this space, and she turns and starts speaking, but it is in her language, so she quickly casts tongues, and you watch her wince from casting the magic as it sort of sends a shock through her body, and she shakes it off and casts tongues upon herself. Fen is with you and all in this moment, and makes the decision that he quickly pulls off the rock feather coat from his back and goes over to Alyona and covers her body with it, her now very nude form, and covers her in this moment, and just sort of quickly, just softly to her, like, this is made from a rock feather. We found it when we were crossing the hammer, and you should have it, I think. And leaves that with her in her being now the only piece of clothing she has.
Well, yeah.
One moment. Sorry, just 1 second. And she looks at him. Thank you, that is very kind. And it's a very nice jacket. So she just kind of holds it across herself. All right, I think I am done with fancy party. And Alyona sort of just pushes her hair back out of her face. You should have a guest tomorrow. Enjoy. Call me if you need anything. And she's just gonna start walking.
I think Roshan is again shell shocked, but kind of just waves and
Yeah, it's like
waits for everyone
shell-shocked
else to keep
waving.
moving.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. That was weird to experience with the ring on. That was weird. That was a lot.
It was a lot.
That was interesting. That was like nothing I've ever seen before
What
in
was
my
that?
life.
I think she was bidding the universe do what she says, and I think that was her aligning things to bring my sister back. Meanwhile, I think Roshan's guts are all in a twist because he's like, why did I wait for tomorrow? Now I have to wait awake for 20 hours or whatever. 15.
It's best to make sure that Miss Pink doesn't get a hold of the two of y'all. She doesn't need the complete set.
True. She didn't promise not to eat us, so.
No, she didn't. So, how dare she? Frankly, rude. Anyway, I think Nana will sort of. Is Alyona still kind of like in the space? Is she walking out with us?
She is walking ahead of you. She did not wait for you guys to get
Got it.
unshell shocked.
Got it. I see. Okay. So I think as we're kind of heading out, Nana will sort of walk alongside Roshan. There's a lot that I'd like to talk about with you, but I really don't think tonight's the night.
Yeah.
Glad we'll get to see Rose soon. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah,
Uh,
let's get out of here, right?
yeah.
Let's get out of here.
Fen leans in to just like to Keld, who is in this group, but like not actively part of that conversation. He's like, I'm going to be right behind you. I'm saying goodbye. But I'm walking out with you. And he looks kind of behind y'all, and he's looking towards Corrine.
Okay.
Just right behind you. And you see that he goes over to Corrine and kisses her hand, and they seem to also be walking. Like they are just a few yards, like a good chunk of a few yards, but they are within view and walking in the same direction as you.
Keld will glance back and then just carry on.
Yeah. As you two were, if you'd like to continue.
You had a chance to look at Fen at any point tonight, huh? There was
Not
a
very
lot.
much, but I saw him almost stab Sindri.
It's not surprising, but what stopped him?
A strict command from Corrine.
Think she'll let him come with us tomorrow?
If he walks out of here with us tonight, then probably.
Let's see what happens, huh?
Yeah.
All of you continue walking. Fen and Corrine are actively on the same path as you. They are going this way. And a little bit before this, not too much before, but a bit before, Russ kind of looks over at you, Nyx. All right. I've been released.
Do we want to wait and say goodbye to them before they go, or? So I didn't even say hi to him.
Would you like to?
He's important to you, right?
He was the only important person for a while.
Then I think it's important I meet him.
All right.
We can stay
Suppose-
here. We'll see him when he comes, right?
I don't want him to see me next to the vomit bush, honestly.
We
Like,
could go to a
I feel
different
like he would
bush.
accept me as who I am, but how about we make that the last thing we do? We go in, we say goodbye, and then I don't care who stops me, I'm leaving.
Deal.
Okay.
Tell them all no.
And this is kind of right before the tree incident happens. So this is right before that happens. So this is just a slight step back in time. As Russ sort of kind of cleans himself up a bit, kind of just like tries to get a bit of a game
Give him
face
some
on.
water to help, you know.
Yeah, drink some water. He drinks some water. And he leads you in and kind of has to like scan the place to try and find them, but eventually does and approaches the kiln and his handler. And when he goes over, he immediately like takes like a low bow. Sindri, apologies for earlier. I'm sorry. And the kiln looks at him and smiles and sort of like clasps his shoulder. No hard feelings, I promise. And turns his focus to you. And is this the lucky lady?
She'll like attempt to curtsy. These heels suck.
Yes.
Her feet are broken at this point. Yeah, I'm Nyx.
Nyx, it is nice to meet you. I'm Sindri, and he'll take your hand. Are you going in for more of like a you could kiss my hand, or more of like a handshake? What's your vibe?
She's very used to Russ kissing her hand, so I think at this point she's been doing that.
Okay.
So
So he would politely kiss your hand, and you see as you approach, the handler kind of does a bow and then straightens up, and then you watch like a couple of like those rhythmic shoulder movements. And the kiln looks to you. I spoke to some of your new companions and informed them that you were able to go on this guard-centric combat, that you may use whatever resources you deem fit that you have at your disposal. She'll inform you of everything, kind of motions to the handler. And that your vacation days were approved as long as you use them for an actual vacation, which I think is rightly earned. And like looks to the handler for a second, then looks back. And your relic should be delivered to the inn you are staying at. You will have it in the morning.
should be leaving right away. Ish.
We'll make sure it is there right away.
Thank you.
Of
for
course, I'm sorry I wasn't able to give you my blessing earlier. I didn't want to pursue Russ, and after I saw you go with him, and I know sometimes he just needs to breathe, and you seem like a breath of fresh air, so I wouldn't intrude.
Yeah. I think we'll be keeping that up for the rest of the night.
I think some quiet and some rest is in order.
Do that. So I'm sorry, who did you talk to? Like, wasn't all of them?
Oh, no. I didn't
Okay.
expect it to be. To be fair, based on the original experience. I didn't expect cordial communication at all, to be fair, but Roshan and your brother Keld approached me, and we spoke.
It's probably for the best.
Mm.
Sort of. Kelkia.
I'm glad I was able to meet you. I'm glad you took the time to see me.
But you're important to him, so of course.
That is incredibly flattering. And kind of smiles at Russ. If there's anything you need, Russ, if there's any support you need at this time, please let us know. And Russ kind of gives like an okay kind of like nod.
We can think about it.
Good idea.
Okay.
Well, my blessings again.
We'll begin. Then you could come by if you wanted to meet, his family sometime. It's all great.
That
Welcome
does sound
everybody
great.
there.
I will see if my schedule allows it, but I think it may be best to just let Russ enjoy his vacation without his boss.
Yeah, not at the same time. Just in the future.
Just at
Like,
some
you are
I
welcome to
understand.
come there. Yeah.
I appreciate the open invitation for some time
Yes.
in the future. Yes,
Not this time.
I understand.
Too many people to introduce already.
I'm sure. And I'm not sure how welcoming, depending on the company.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right.
Right. Should we go? Maybe we can get back before them.
Let's head out. Thank you, Sindri. And does like another bow. And Sindri just sort of like smiles back at him.
Hmm.
Anything you need, reach out. And at that moment, energy like ricochets through the space as Alyona is like nude and summoning the powers of the universe in the middle of the courtyard. Huh. Frightening.
Hmm.
Ambition for ambition's sake. And just sort of kind of does like a solid handshake with Russ and then is going to make his way off to do whatever he is doing.
Yeah. She's gonna lead him out. She wants to
Right.
go.
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
So you start making your way. You have a very high passive perception.
Incredibly.
Because of how this worked out, your friends are now actually ahead of you. So it's like,
Oh no, so
sons of
we're
bitches.
walking slow.
We got to slow down. So this is up to you because you and Russ have decided we're leaving now. I'm going to tell you something you see, and you decide if this is something of interest. As you are leaving, you see Bela, the queen with the white wings, approaching the Lady Lord.
Oh, interesting.
So you can decide if you want to see what's happening or if you're like, we're going. It's fully up to you.
I mean, just slows down even more to watch because she could see the group in front of her. It's just like, hey, maybe we could just take our time and also
Yeah.
be nosy.
Russ like kind of stops and then like falls back in step with you. It is kind of like, we're sort of just walking in place, but that is fine. I could do that. What are we doing?
Trying to watch what's happening over there.
Oh. And he like glances over. All right. And so he just kind of like stands with you and kind of does an occasional glance to check in on that. You look over and you're taking in the energy of the space. And you and Keld have always been pretty good at reading a room to an extent, you know? And the silence between the two is frigid. It is a vacant expanse. There is no life in the space and the air between them. As she approaches, you see Bela holding her stomach, and her partner is hot on her heels. And you can see Talarin and Egil immediately kind of like get on alert. Like they don't like jump in and like stand in the middle, but like you see them like straighten up and like they both seem like this is happening. Okay, we're doing something right now. We're talking. As she makes her way over, hand on her stomach, and looks to the Lady Lord. Oh, I couldn't in good faith go through this entire event without speaking to you, darling. And she smiles, looking to the Lady Lord. I just want you to know that I am incredibly willing to sign this treaty. I am willing to let go of ego, as it were. You know, for the next generation. And lovingly runs a hand over her stomach. What say you of peace? And smiles to the Lady Lord. The icy silence deepens What say I of peace? The first time she has spoken common in your presence. And she takes a step forward. Call it ego, if you like. I will grip it like a vice as she steps in another step closer. I hold ego as tightly as I hold the memory of my husband, my daughters, my only son. For I have no hopes or bloated stomach to grasp. And you can see Bela in this moment, like, the look of the offense, but the look of like amusement, like getting a rise out of someone might have been the intent, and is like, good to know, good to see this. And the Lady Lord leans in. What say I of peace? I say, bury it. Like my children. Like yours. And it is a flash as these large spider legs, tipped in copper on her back, shoot forward in this moment. And you hear the gasp of the Lady Lord. At this point, the rest of you are basically at the gate on your way out. As Nyx, you watch in this moment as these legs shoot forward. You can see Eagle tries to react and like reach out to grab something, but it all happened too quickly for him to be able to do anything. The only sound in this space was this gasp from Queen Bela as blood begins to spill onto the cobblestones in neat little drops. 4 wounds burrowed into the stomach of General Talarin, who stepped in front. As she stands there gripping onto these spider legs that have now burrowed inside of her body, as she stares at the Lady Lord. Talarin stands between the two, both now very startled matriarchs. The Lady Lord looks to her, face confused, betrayed, and murmurs something no longer in common, but you just get the energy of, why? Why would you do that?
Et tu, Brute.
And General Talarin looks to her, and you see kind of like chokes on like a little bit of blood. Like General Talon's trying to stand like they're having a conversation and like she was not just stabbed by these immense legs. And kind of gnashes her teeth through the pain, which you can see a bit of kind of red spattered across them. I want to feel safe in my own home. And like, just like trying to speak through just pain in this moment. I want to feel safe. For once. I want to be able to rest. I want to be able to mourn. And just looks to the Lady Lord for anything. Then rest. As the legs are roughly pulled from General Talarin's body, and the Lady Lord turns on heels and begins walking. As this was the only thing holding General Talarin up, General Talarin immediately drops.
Yeah, Nyx is gonna run over and cast heal. We still have that 7th level spell.
Thank goodness for that.
You run over, and the thing, as big and beautiful of a spectacle it was, most people did not notice the extent of it. And if some people did, it was certainly not something they wanted to step in with. And not a single invisible guard has stepped in this moment. Not a single one seems to be reacting to this moment. As you run over and cast heal on General Talarin, and she kind of like wakes up. Oh, hey there, friend.
Hey, that didn't look very good.
Didn't go too good, did it? And you see Queen Bela steps forward. Thank you, General Talarin. Thank you. And General Talon sort of like gives like a nod, and Bela kind of and her husband quickly exit the scene. Yeah. I wanted to give it a fighting chance, and that wouldn't have worked. Huh.
Get you up. She's gonna help her.
Yeah. Russ comes over and also like helps you pick up General Talon. It's going to be weird going home. What an awkward ride.
Maybe like stay in for the night, maybe. Let it pass. You can walk with, we're going, it's not the fancy one, but we're going to the other one. We have a carriage you can come with.
You can see also just kind of slightly behind in like the background of this is Egil being like, what the fuck do I do? Like you can see just like the wheels fucking spinning. And he kind of steps next to General Talon. General Talon, you do what you think is appropriate. I'm going to go soothe your mistress. And Egil is going to go follow the Lady Lord. Okay, you have fun. Be careful. She's always had a temper. But,
Love the teamwork here.
we're a team. We're all teams here. Nix, just go ahead and roll persuasion with advantage for me to see if General Talon is
Wow.
walking with you.
It's not a walk, there's a carriage. We have a
That's
car.
true. Put in our carriage.
You can ride.
Wow. Okay, so 18 on the first one.
Oh.
We'll go with that instead of the 1.
Yes.
Okay, how about I make sure you get back to your place nice and safe,
Mm.
and then I
make-
will meander my way home.
In the morning. Got it.
It's basically morning. And we'll start walking with you. And you can just see that moment where her face kind of like drops a little bit as she sort of like looks off to the side and tuck back up. It's true, I never got to go to your fancy inn and play your games and your dice and drink all your drinks.
The drinks, sadly, I'm not drinking them anymore. They don't do anything. It's a
Oh.
whole, yeah.
That is the saddest thing I heard today. And your friend Fen came over and told me a very sad story. And that's honestly bumming me out more.
Me too.
Let's just see what happens. And General Talon will leave with you. You all, the other team, make your way through the space and get to the exit. And you see Fen and Corrine stop just like a bit behind you as they're talking and seem to be pretty deep in conversation. And Corrine glances over. He'll be out in a second. If you could give us a moment.
Sure.
And
I think Nana's gonna pull away a little ways. She's not
like, it
lingering,
seems
but
like
she's
she's
looking.
motioning to the door, like you were on your way out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, we're proceeding towards the door.
I am saying you are at the door at this juncture. She's asking you to walk
Oh.
through it and give them a
Oh.
moment.
Oh, I see. Lovely. Cool. Yeah, cool. All right. Yep. Nana will.
I am assuming followed by Keld and Roshan.
Yeah.
And the items that you have checked in are beginning to be returned to you in this moment and handed off. Fen's things are also given to you in this moment as you are acquiring things. You did not ask for them, but they are being given to you by the man at the door. And you can see Fen and Corrine talking, and she takes his hands in hers. And if you're staying and watching, you watch her stop for a moment, pull her hand back, and sort of laugh to herself and wipe a tear off of her cheek as she talks to him. And she begins to make her way, with Fen in tow, closer and closer to the door. And they step through the gate into the freezing cold with the rest of you. And she kind of looks at him again and leans in close and like whispers softly to him. And you see he kind of hesitates and then holds out his wrist, and she places a hand on it, and it looks like she peels the invitation off of his wrist, the thing that allowed all of you to come into the dome. She removes it and looks at him and cups his face and whispers something softly to him. And she lets go of him. And you can see the water in her eyes building up and the flush of her cheeks as the cold wind hits them. And she looks at Fen one more time and then makes her way back inside. And Fen stands there for a moment and sort of kind of autopilot-y in a way, goes and he picks up his things and he begins to follow you guys. And as everyone at their own pace makes their way towards the inn on foot or in cart, that is where we are going to stop for tonight. Thank you all so much for being here. We appreciate it. We love telling you guys the story of the last night of this beautiful party. Thank you again for being here. If you want to see the other nights of the party, what a very long trilogy. If you're so inclined, you can head over to youtube.com/TheDiceCult, which is where you are right now. If you've come, you get it.
It'll be longer than the Lord of the Rings extended edition.
If you were like, Lord of the Rings not long enough, well, I've got something for you.
This is a true trilogy saga to test any fantasy fans' metal cultists.
If you'd like to keep up with us, we are at Backs of Gods on Instagram and Twitter. If you'd like to keep up with all of us, we are at TheDiceCult on Instagram and Twitter. Once again, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. We love telling you guys a story. We will be here same time, same place, Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, cultists.